Alright, so I wanted to talk about something that I experienced, and I think that I'm ready to talk about it. It's been about a year and a half. It's going to be going on 2 years since I went through an ectopic pregnancy. I was off birth control for about a month, and I just figured, so I did know I was bleeding a lot, and I thought that it was because sometimes your body, when it's been on birth control and you get off, you'll have like extra bleeding and the next month after getting off of it. And so I just kind of figured that that's what was happening. I did realize it was like not normal, but it seemed normal. I was kind of like researching when you're getting off birth control what that could look like, and it seemed very much normal at the time. I physically was feeling a little bit sick, so I almost had like symptoms of a cold. So I was like coughing, I had a stuffy nose. Now thinking back, because I didn't know at the time, I was like nauseous a little bit. I was sensitive to smells, because I remember like I could smell everything, and I'm already kind of sensitive to smells, but I was overly sensitive to smells. And so I was at work, and I had been already like on my what I thought was my period for like 10 days. And again, that's normal when you look up, like if you were on birth control and you got off the next month, you usually have like a longer period. And so I went to work, and I remember just out of nowhere, like I was fine. I was sitting there, and I was actually talking to my manager, and I just got this really bad sharp pain in my stomach. That's what it felt like in my stomach. It hurt really bad, and it felt like I just needed to like use the restroom or something. Halfway through her talking, I had to actually cut her off because I felt like I had to use the restroom. So I ran to the restroom, and it was like a really bad sharp pain, and it just was getting worse and worse and worse. And then it got to the point where it just hurt when I like caught, because I was kind of still had like that, what I thought was cold symptoms. So I was like avoiding coughing because it actually would make the pain that I was feeling worse. And I thought maybe I just had something going on, like stomach issues. But then it was getting worse. So about like, I stayed at work for a couple hours like that, and I ended up leaving early, and I couldn't even drive. I don't know how I got home, but I drove. And it hurt so bad. It was like an intense pain that I didn't realize was in my abdomen, but it was like my lower stomach, let's say. And I waited out maybe another couple of hours, which I probably shouldn't have, but I didn't know. I thought that it was something that was going to go away, so I laid down, and it was intensely just, I couldn't, it hurt so bad that I just had to go to the ER. The closer I got to the ER, I started feeling super nauseous. As soon as I got to the ER, I actually got out of the car, and I just started throwing up, like in the street. I didn't even get inside the building, and I was throwing up. And that same day, I had wings, like buffalo wings. That's what I was craving for lunch. And I thought that maybe they like didn't settle in my stomach right. And so when I threw up, I realized that it was like probably the wings, but then later realized I was throwing up blood. And so when I got into the hospital, they obviously rushed me back quick, and they tried to do an ultrasound, like to check if everything was okay. But I was in so much pain, like I literally kicked the girl because I didn't even want anyone to touch me. It hurt so bad. And then I started passing out. Like I couldn't see anything. The sound, everything was like far away sounding, and my vision was just like going away. And they basically admitted me, and then I laid there. They couldn't even put an IV. I was super cold. My skin was like turning gray. I didn't know what was going on, and then they tried to lift me because they wanted to like have me pee. I couldn't even do that. I kept passing out, and I really legit think that I died, because I felt like I died. Like I couldn't hear or see anything for a moment. It felt on my side, because I was in so much pain, it felt like at ease, like I felt calm. So that's why I think that I actually did die for a little bit. At some point I couldn't see, but I could hear everybody super far. There were so many people in the room. And then I just heard like someone come in and they were like, "Did you know that you were pregnant?" And I remember saying like, "No." And they were like, your fallopian tube, like you had an ectopic pregnancy, and the fallopian tube, like it was growing, the baby was growing in your fallopian tube until it burst, and so you're internally bleeding. And you've been internally bleeding for a while, so like if you don't get an emergency surgery right now, you're gonna die, basically. Like I was dying. And I mean, I had a consent. I was like in so much pain, and they were already basically reeling me in to go get surgery. So I don't remember much after that. I think I passed out and I just woke up and I was out of surgery. So they did I forgot what it's called, the type of surgery, but I woke up and I have seven holes, like obviously they're closed up now, but on my stomach, and one is in my belly button. That's the biggest one. So I have 4 like little holes that they use to do the surgery, to basically remove my fallopian tube and everything else that was involved with that. In that procedure, apparently they had to move my bladder and put gas in my stomach or something to be able to like see. So when I got out of surgery, my stomach was kind of like inflated feeling. It looked big. And I think now that I've kind of healed, because they touched my bladder and moved it, I feel like there's permanent bladder issues. Like I have to use the restroom easily now. And so recovery, so I came home. I was in bed rest. You don't realize that you actually use your abdomen and your stomach for everything, like to get up. I couldn't put my clothes on. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't like lift my arms. Everything affects that. It was in so much pain afterward. And I basically was like, I needed help showering. I needed help getting up. I needed help putting my clothes on. I needed help brush my hair. I needed help using the restroom, like sitting down, standing up, walking, everything for a while. And then I also had to keep going to the doctors because I had to get blood tested until basically they were checking to see if it would show that I was still pregnant, because if the levels weren't going down, that means that there was still something left in me that they had to like do surgery, or I don't know what they would have done if it was, but it was decreasing, so that was a good thing. But about 2 months after my surgery, so everything was in October, and so by December I finally tested negative for being pregnant, which meant that the surgery worked, everything was out. And then I was clear to start doing light workout by January, so I was super excited because I wanted to be able to like move around a little bit. They actually encouraged me to do that, to like not get weaker. And I don't think it hit me. It didn't hit me until January. And also, when your hormones go down, you basically go through postpartum. So it's like postpartum, like a normal, like a woman would go through if she had a baby, because you're pregnant one day and then like the next you're not. So all your hormones, it's like a mess. So mentally, I was going through postpartum, and I didn't even realize I was going through postpartum, but I was having panic attacks. I was super sad. I was in depression. I've actually have been dealing with the panic attacks that went away. I've actually been seeing a therapist as well to really take in and accept that this has happened. I think it took a while, and I feel like I'm still healing and recovering from this, because it was so traumatic. It was like one day from another, like I was in bed rest, I was fine, and then I wasn't. And then I had never in my life had tried to even get pregnant. This was the first time that I actually planned this out. I planned out, everything. I had initially went to the doctors to get off birth control, and I was starting to like get my body ready to get pregnant. And I never actually heard or had a scare before, like where a doctor even told me that I was pregnant. So it was just a lot to consume to know that I was, and that they had to remove my fallopian tube, and I think waking up, and it's something that I'm still trying to accept, is that they removed like an organ from me in this whole process. It's scary because I don't know, you know, they say that you can still have kids, and it's, you know, with the other fallopian tube, but I don't know why I feel like it's just kind of taken a little part of like my womanhood away, and like accepting that this has happened to me, that I've lost a kid in the process, and it just has been a lot. I used to cry a lot. I'd have like random like mini episodes in my car, and then as I started like trying to work out again, I would actually cry at the gym while I was working out, and I've actually been doing really good. I don't do that anymore. I've noticed like I don't have like those mini breakdowns anymore. It's just every now and then I kind of just think about it because of the scar. I have scars now on my stomach. It just kind of reminds me like this is real. And then actually in remembrance of this, I ended up getting a tattoo. It's very little, and it's on my left side since they took my left fallopian tube out. It's the ribbon which is like pink and blue, for like it represents women who like have lost. So like if you've had miscarriages or like stillbirth or like ectopic pregnancy, they all have the same ribbon for that like for baby losses. And so that's what I got with like wings on, and it's super small, and it's you can see it like and so I just kind of wanted to share like my experience. It's been really hard. It's been a hard like year and a half, and I feel like I've made a lot of progress, and I just wanted to share this because of it. You know, I've gone through a lot of things, and if you've seen my other videos, I have half facial paralysis, so I used to have cancer in my parotid glands. I had a head and neck cancer and had to get surgery. Actually 7 years out of remission this month, and I just have been through a lot, and I actually feared that I couldn't get pregnant, and that's why I actually never tried. And this, I think, was a big eye-opener, because at least now I know that I could get pregnant. And it does suck because there's not any answers when it comes to ectopic pregnancies. There's nothing that I could have done to prevent it, and they don't know what causes it. So it's like this could happen to anyone. And so I just wanted to bring awareness and share my story. And if anyone wants to reach out, please feel free to do so. I would not mind talking to you, answering any questions, or just being there to talk to you, to give you more details, or if you have anything that you want to, talk to me about, if you're going through something or have gone through something, baby loss, or anything similar. Because this has been like a life-changing, and I mean life-changing, like eye-opening, humbling experience for me. And not only am I a cancer survivor, but I'm an ectopic pregnancy survivor, and they told me if I would have waited an hour more to not go to the hospital that day, I would have died. I was internally bleeding, and my blood inside was like close to getting to my heart. And if it would have done that, I would have had a heart attack. And just to know that too has been life-changing. I already was very appreciative and positive, and taking in a lot of the experiences that I go through, like good things, I take them in, and I do not take it for granted. And this has been like a second traumatic big event that I've gone through, and definitely eye-opening as well. And if I wasn't appreciative before, I mean, this has been something that has really changed my life and how I see it. And I do not take anything for granted. I actually see that, I've gotten a second chance again at being here, and I am doing everything that I can to see that in a positive outlook, because there was months during this, mentally I was having panic attacks, that I was having negative thoughts, and I actually ended up having to be on medication for a little bit. And for personal reasons, I just decided to get off and try to do this naturally, and I've been actually progressing and doing a lot better. So that's my story, and I just wanted to share that. And again, reach out if you'd like. If you have any other questions, let me know. But an ectopic pregnancy is really scary. And I'm just very appreciative, very, very appreciative that I'm still here.